This episode is sponsored by Dice Dungeons. Hello everybody, Jordan here, the PH is silent. Today I'd like to talk about Khelben Arunsun. Also known as Blackstaff, he wielded a trademark Blackstaff and was Lord Mage of Waterdeep as well as a Masked Lord of Waterdeep. He was a powerful Archmage and is featured as a prominent character in the Forgotten Realms. He is a 6-foot-tall bearded man, well-muscled for a wizard. He is a master mage and has taught many the ways of magic. His most important student is probably Laeral Silverhand, who captured his heart. He is a known harper, working for good within the world of the Forgotten Realms. Khelben's father was a half-elf named Aaron Meridim from Mithranor, and his mother was a human ranger. It's common in elven culture to not name the child at birth. Later, a child comes into their name through their actions. He had plenty of nicknames growing up, but by the age of 12 started learning magic. He left Mithranor in 449 DR and took the name he was most proud of, Aaron's son, or Arunsun. Proud of his heritage, he actually wasn't very close to his father at all, and only saw him a handful of times before leaving Mithranor. Khelben died in 464 DR in the Anauroch Desert with his father. The two were overrun by Farum and out of spells. Now the Farum are native to the Anauroch Desert and were the main enemy of the Netheril back in the day. In desperation, his father destroyed a magical item called the Dusk Staff of Sa'ril. It exploded and created a crater of glass, destroying both themselves and the Farum. However, Khelben was resurrected by Mystra and at this point became a Chosen of Mystra. As a Chosen of Mystra, Khelben had certain benefits. Obviously, a chosen of any deity gains power. In the case of Mystra, those chosen have greater command over magic and the weave. They are protected from certain spells and have certain immunities to magic. The most sought-after benefit was Silver Fire, a unique ability to conjure a silver flame that had a plethora of functions. It could be offensive and deal tremendous damage, destroying magical barriers or banishing undead. It could also be activated within the body to purge magical or psionic influences. Finally, once a day, an individual can teleport without air to the last location he or she used the Silver Fire in any of its forms. Truly a powerful gift. It wasn't until 1150 DR that Khelben finally arrived in Waterdeep and built Arunsun Tower. Later known as Blackstaff Tower, it was renamed by Khelben in 1322 DR. It's one of the most recognizable landmarks in the castle ward of Waterdeep. It's made of smooth black stone with no windows or doors. It also has some space-bending magic. From the outside, the structure appears to be 3 stories tall, but inside there were at least a dozen levels, some that could only be reached by magical means. There was a central stairwell that everything was connected to, but certain magical passwords were needed to arrive in areas of the stairwell. This tower also had the ability to repair itself. This was relatively fast for a building, and after an attack, the tower would be back to normal within a day. In 1367, Khelben Arunsun unmasked himself as a Lord of Waterdeep and resigned. It was believed he was the most powerful masked lord and solely ran much of Waterdeep during his time. It was a large surprise to the populace and his fellow lords, always believed to be a masked lord. To openly resign was uncommon. Khelben was originally part of the Harpers, but felt that the organization unfairly treated others, so he created his own called the Moon Stars that had similar goals but was under his orders. Also known as the Silver Stars or the 12 Stars, they were a super secret group out against the forces of evil. They were dedicated to Mystra, Ogma, and Sehanine Moonbow. Formed in 1370 DR, they were unsurprisingly based in Waterdeep because that's where Khelben was. More or less, they operated much like the Harpers, but more secretly and with less freedom. Blackstaff wanted to know exactly what they were doing and would give orders if he disapproved. Their headquarters was Blackstaff Tower, and when Khelben Blackstaff Arunsun died, spoilers, the Moon Stars seemed to break apart, but never went away completely. It was during the Second Sundering that sleeper agents reactivated and the organization came back on a massive scale. I'd like to thank Dice Dungeons for sponsoring this video. They've got all kinds of accessories for your role-playing game needs. Dice, like metal dice and polymer dice, as well as cloth battle maps, which is a quick, easy way to throw down some terrain for your game. Also, inspiration coins, which are my favorite, and you can hand them out as a dungeon master or a bard player character, reminding your players that they have inspiration to use. Check out their website today and use the code Jordan with a PH in the middle for 10% off your first order. Khelben Blackstaff Arunsun died. Well, twice. The latter being a bit more permanent. He coordinated a massive magical project to resurrect the hidden city of Hope, to reconstruct an ancient library. Located in the high moor, the city was raised, but the mages who cast their ritual lost their lives. After his death, his spirit settled in Blackstaff Tower to aid and advise future Blackstaffs. Blackstaff became a title after Khelben, and others have since held the title of Blackstaff and reside in Blackstaff Tower. Khelben had children and currently would be a great-grandfather. The current Blackstaff is a young woman from Tathir named Vedra Safahir. She is descended from Khelben through his great-grandson, Count Gamelon of Spellshire. And that's where we'll end today. Khelben Blackstaff Arunsun can be found in Forgotten Realms novels, video games, and supplements. If you want to know more about him, I recommend the book Blackstaff. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks so much for my patrons on Patreon that keep these videos going. If you'd like to become a patron, click the link on the screen. Thanks for sharing these videos with your gaming group, and let me know if Blackstaff makes an appearance in your game. I'll see you all next week with another video.